we've got Tom Brady as what is he right now? A 3.5 point dog on the road at Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. The total is 51. Wowzer. Give me your first instinct. You saw this line get posted, I think at 4, immediately got bet down. Give me your take, your first reaction on this game.
First instinct, pound Green Bay. I was just I knew
Wow.
because I just knew the public's gonna love the Brady story. And the fact that they're a dog, I thought the value was good at 4 and 3.5, but now that it's down to 3, you're kind of losing here with the Bucs. But if you dive into the numbers, the Bucs are the right play here. The I think statistically, teams that get blown out by a team and then they play them again in the playoffs, it really doesn't fare well for that team. So that Buccaneers game and the Green Bay game, I watched that game twice. I watched it yesterday and I watched it again this morning. And I really think there's things you can take away from their first matchup, but a lot of things you can't. It's just a snowball game where they go up 10-0. I think Green Bay, and then it just all went the Buccaneers' way. I think Rodgers threw 2 picks. They had a couple fumbles. Brady was just on target every time he was throwing deep. I think my initial gut here was to take Green Bay is because it's the cold, man. Like we'll talk about totals and things like that, but this is a week where both these cities you have to wait on these totals because Kansas City can get a blizzard in a day. We know the deal with Green Bay. It's called the frozen tundra. It could be 20 degrees there for all we know when this game kicks off. And all these things predicate to Green Bay and the under. Green Bay, we know their defense can make stops. Where I talked last week, this New Orleans defense, they really couldn't make stops. So we knew the Bucs were going to put up points. Where we've seen it play out here with Green Bay. They have a defense that can make big plays. And it's going to be such an interesting matchup where exactly what you said. I know everyone's looking at this Chiefs and Bills game is the marquee matchup. I just love this game more because these are 2 quarterbacks that have been in our lives now for going on 20 years with Brady and going on 15 years with Rodgers. So it's just one of these relationships where it's like it was painful watching Breeze in that game because we all know what Breeze is. Breeze is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Guy can't miss. I mean, he is one of the best arms ever in the league. And you just saw his age catch up to him in that game. He could not get the ball 10 yards downfield. And we're looking at Brady, who's reversed age. He's Benjamin Button. And I think I just have to play the numbers and trust that an old QB going from Florida, playing Green Bay, how do you not take Green Bay at 3? The the value is on Green Bay because I had this number at 3. So 3.5, I'd be sitting here telling people to take the Buccaneers. So I know it sounds kind of stupid, but you're just playing the value number. Same reason last week we talked late Sunday night and you said, are you taking the Buccaneers here just value of something you saw? And I said, it's just pure value. Like you can't get all my data in just one night right after the games. It was just pure value play. The Buccaneers were +4 against the Saints. I said that number should have been 3. And then the late movement in that game was all about Taysom Hill, Murray being out. That's why that number dropped because that is – you can say whatever you want about Taysom Hill for the Saints. But that guy, every time he runs it, he gets like 7 yards at a time. He was a big player for the Saints there. And you saw that really hurt them in that game where they couldn't put the game away. They were up 20-13, and they couldn't put the game away. So this is another game where I think it's going to settle now at 3, just like this Bills and Chiefs game has been fluctuating from 3 to 2.5. It's just one of those where the books are just taking feelers. Because the most you can bet right now, these books, is $1,000. Like they're not taking big bets. They're just letting people put out feelers and just seeing how they can move the number to get the most action.
When we started this conversation, it sounded like you were going to be on the Bucs. Sounded like you love the Packers emotionally. You wanted to be on the Bucs because of the number, and then you sort of walked us through that the Bucs were the right side at 4 and 3.5. Now, if it's Packers -3, you're going to be on the Packers. That's clear. Is this a big balls bet of the week? Is this a hornet's nest? Is this a foxhole bet? None of them feel like they apply to this bet.
And before I answer that, anyone that's DMing me, I'm not checking any DMs until after the Super Bowl. I apologize. I just can't do it. I answered like 5,000 DMs right before Christmas as a Christmas gift. I just can't do it, man. It's too much. It's too much like pressure questions. Like people are like asking me like serious stuff about like what to do with their money and different things like that. I can't answer that stuff, man. Like I don't want to tell you what to do with your money. But yeah, getting back to the big balls bet of the week.
By the way, who are you, LeBron James? Like,
Yeah,
I don't check DMs during the playoffs. That's what I do.
I'll screenshot a text photo of my text message chat. I got 1,000 unread text messages, bro. That's how I am. I'll try to be nice and get to people. Like I am humble, but it's like too much, bro. It's way too many questions, especially when if I answer a person a question, they hit me with another 2 paragraphs. What am I doing here, buddy? Like I don't have all the answers, but yeah,
I get it.
for
I'm kidding with you. It is
but I will get to them in the off season, like that. I promise. Like I'll have a ton of downtime. Like I do want to help people, and people have questions about how to build their system. I'm here to help, man, because that's my whole goal of this show is just to make the public better, smarter. And I want to come off as like now that I have whatever it is, 7,000 followers, I'm too big for it. Like that's nothing. Like that's little droplets in the ocean. But I just want people to know that it's too much for just a normal person to try to get back to all of it at once. But I do try to get back to people and give advice. Even if they're being terribly mean to me or you, I still reply to them just because I don't care. I really don't. But it's this week's gonna be tough with our 3 picks. I mean, I guess we can do big balls better the week here in Green Bay because it doesn't feel like it takes big balls, but like you're gonna feel comfortable taking the points with Brady. Like that's what felt so nice last week is we had the points with Brady. Like I never really was worried about the 3.5 or the 3, whatever number you got. But I just feel the same way about Green Bay. It's like Aaron Rodgers at home -3. He's 0-3 in his last 3 trips to the NFC Championship game. It just feels like he's due, and it feels like the Buccaneers are a year away. Like this is like the kind of thing where Green Bay last year, they went to the 49ers and they got smacked around, and now look at them this year. They're hosting the game. I feel like that'll be the Bucs next year. Like he'll have another year of Brady getting into a groove with his teammates and everything like that. And I just think this isn't the year for them. So I do have a huge futures on the Buccaneers, and obviously like I hedge that. But just what I'm going to bet this week, I'm going to be taking Green Bay -3.
I love the Bucs as much as I loved the Ravens last week, but I can't. But I get what you're saying, and I liked them at 4. I liked them at 3.5. At
Yeah.
3, I lose a little bit of my nerve.
Yeah. I mean, I will get into it with the Bills Chiefs, but this is just a different situation where both teams are healthy. I mean, I know Antonio Brown might be out for the Buccaneers, which is something to keep your eye on. But this is one of those, man. If we take the 3 now, and it turns out there's gonna be a blizzard on Sunday, this line's gonna go up because I just don't
Yeah.
think the Buccaneers are built to play in weather like that. Where Green Bay, their offensive scheme is based around the run. They have a 3-headed monster in the running back. So I just everything's skewing right now towards Green Bay. So here, as we sit on Tuesday, I love Green Bay.
I love Green Bay. Bum bum. It's like little Randy Newman for you. What about the total? Total's at what? 51?
Yeah, 50.5, 51.
Dropped
Again, when I
open to 52.
and I was on the over right there because I just gut feeling was these are 2 high-powered offenses that can score. But then I checked like the weather report and I've checked it again today, and it's just supposed to be really cold and there's a chance of snow. So we might be in the same situation. I know it's totally different quarterbacks who are way better, obviously, than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, but it just feels like it could be one of these games where if it's windy, it's cold, it just skews towards the under. So I would tell people to hold off on betting this total because even if it drops, the lowest it's going to go is 48. I can't see it getting below that with the books because that'd be too much of a middle for them to handle. So I think you're fine just waiting here. I wouldn't take it, but I do lean the over.
All right, let's get to the next game because I guess we're deciding that the Packers -3 is our big balls bet of the week in the face of overwhelming public sentiment. Let me put in my glasses here and check. I'm looking at the app right now. 56% of the bets and 60% of the money are on Green Bay. So Simon, this isn't a big balls bet because we're betting with the money and the public.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say that's not sharp money? So I get it. You're saying it's not big balls, so you could make a foxhole if that makes you feel better.
Foxhole! Love a foxhole.
More drops.
Actually, this is a hornet's nest. You know why? because it is an impossible game to understand.
Yeah.
Because of everything you said, Tom Brady in the cold doesn't worry me. Bucs have a great defense. Packers defense isn't as good. You're ultimately betting on Aaron Rodgers in this game. If you decide you like the Packers, you're only betting on Aaron Rodgers, and that's a hornet's nest, man. It is a hornet's nest to walk in and be betting on one player.
And that's what I'm trying to get into people in the playoffs. Like I had my huge edges during the regular season. That's how I've been trying to break down to people. Playoffs is true luck. It's a really small sample where weird things are going to happen in all these games. Did anyone see a 17-13, 17-3 final in that Bills Ravens game? No one saw that coming. Did anyone see the Chiefs being up big and then Mahomes getting knocked out and a real sweat there? I mean, Henny, I don't even want to tell you how much money I had on because I told you I do these money line parlays. I had so much money tied into the Chiefs money line because I just said there was no way they were losing their Browns in that game. And oh man, like that panic to grab the +8, +9 of Cleveland when Mahomes went down, it was like the fear of all fears. And I'm out. I'm getting out of this bet. And luckily, the middle hit, like the finish at 5. So all your teasers, anything you did with the Chiefs, their money lines, everything came through. And if you took the +9 with Cleveland, it came through. So I don't know how the books did, but I bet by professionals they got slaughtered, especially the online. Like in New Jersey, we have like 25 online books. It's just such a huge advantage. Where I saw there was a tweet, it might have been BetMGM, that their volume pregame was lower than it was at the instant Mahomes went down. They took more bets live than they did before the game started. So that's like really interesting aspect of this is that people are just sitting on their couch and they see Mahomes go down. They just fire 20 away on the
Yeah.
Browns and it worked out for them. So it was one of those, the books got called quick because I know they moved the line down to 6. They moved it down to 7, but it ended, like we said, it ended at 5. So it was definitely an interesting week with that. And that's another one of those where I know it's weird to do, but you just have to really trust your gut here in the playoffs because I have an advantage. Of course, I have a system that's giving me good data that I trust, but there's just so much unknown and weirdness and just a one game winner take all kind of thing. So yeah, we talked about, we love Green Bay. Anyone out there that likes the Bucs, you want to keep riding the Tom Brady train. There are millions of numbers that are going to back up that feeling for you. Like the trends are all pointing towards the Buccaneers. So again, we're making our Hornets Nest bet, but it's definitely one of those where we're gonna have other companions with us, Chad. But it's gonna be one of those where you're just gonna have people on both sides all week. It's just gonna be
100%.
split right down the middle.
Totally true.